Hello, friends. Welcome and namaste. So, last week was kind of getting back into the body, but we started to talk about how the upper arm bone affects the shoulder blades, affects the upper back, affects the neck. So, we're going to continue to look at that and break that down a little more. Before we get into all of that, find yourself in your upright posture. Imagine, if you will, that your tailbone, that you were a dandelion and your tailbone is a taproot. Whatever your relationship is with dandelions, we all got to admit they've got this taproot that really drills down into the earth and makes them very hard to get out of the earth. Right? So send your taproot down, and from that stability, allow the spine to lengthen up as if you had the sun above your head at 12 o'clock. Check into your breath. Where are you feeling the breath? Your chest, your ribs, your belly. Noticing if it's short or long, shallow, deep, etc. And you've probably guessed by now, but I'll lead you into that soft belly breath, or invite you. Start to utilize your diaphragm. Before I left for my spring break, my vacation, we were working with a 5-count inhale and 5-count exhale. If you can't quite get to 5, that's okay. Maybe you're starting with 3s, and maybe later naturally you'll be a little longer. But find ease and find the longest breath you can at this moment in time. And then pay attention to the shoulders, the neck, and the upper back. Notice if your shoulders tend to round forward. Don't try to correct anything, right? There's nothing to correct. Notice your tendencies. Is your head bobbing a little forward, or does the crown of the head go back and the chin lift, right? What do you feel? And then go ahead and open the eyes. And we're just going to get into it right off the bat since it's one of the 20-minute, the shorter version videos. Let's take our fingertips to our shoulders-ish, whatever that is, and just start to move your elbows in circles. Let's just wake up those joints a little bit before we go too strong. And then go ahead and go the other direction. Let's take one elbow up first and go back. Maybe turn the head and look back with it, and then the other arm. So I liken this to doing the backstroke. Get the spine a little involved, the neck a little involved. Of course, the neck is part of the spine. Go ahead and go the other way. So you're doing the crawl. And again, feel free to let the head turn with this. And then bring those hands down, pause. We're going to pay attention to the scapula, the shoulder blades. Let them move up to the ears, around the front of the rib cage, down and together, and then smooth that out. I want you to notice how my spine stays pretty stable, right? I'm not saying be rigid, but try to isolate it in your shoulder blades, and then reverse and go the other direction with your circles. And then land those right in the middle of those 4 big motions of the shoulder blades, right? And you're going to go ahead, you're going to take your right hand up and pat yourself on your back on the right side. So not across the body, right? Your left hand's going to come up, and your left hand is the power horse here. This stays as soft as possible, the right arm. And you're going to start to lift. Let me start over. Bring the elbow in. Don't let it go wide. Shoulder distance. And then start to lift it up, right? That left forearm can come over the head. Some people prefer that. Some people prefer it down low. Whatever floats your boat, right? But when you start to go into it, notice what the rest of the spine does. Does your head do some funky position? Can that dandelion still reach up? And then the other one is the ribs like to puff out, those right ones. So keep the ribs and the spine in place. Lift from the elbow and Keep that upper right trap as soft as possible. And release that down. Left hand is going to come pat yourself on the back on the left side. Right hand grabs elbow. Again, bring it in if it goes wide and keep it shoulder distance. That's number one. As you start to lift up, I'd rather have you not lift as high and stay in than go out to get high. So go ahead and start to use the right hand to lift that up, forearm wherever it's the most comfortable, right? Notice the rest of the spine, and if it tweaked, to let the arm lift up, try to soften that down, and then keep that upper left trap as soft as possible. We're kind of trying to retrain that. Sometimes I even bring my thumb in of my left hand and kind of needle it a little bit, right? And go ahead and release that down. Any movement you want through your shoulders, go ahead and take that. So I'm going to do one little breakdown piece. When we ask our arm to do that, to stay in, right, and reach back, it's called external rotation, right? And it makes a huge difference on what happens in this most upper back and neck area. We're going to explore that today. So same thing, right hand up, grab with the left arm. A little quicker, I don't mean to move fast, but we already broke it down, and come to where you just were moments ago, right? And then you're going to use that left hand and you're going to grab onto that humerus bone so it doesn't move, and you're going to reach your right fingertips up to the sky, aka extend the arm. Soften that right upper trap down if it's up, right? Notice that you can. And notice that your palm is facing behind you. I'm putting that in air quotes because for some of us it'll be a little bit more towards the midline, but it's moving a little bit towards the back of the room, turning, rotating. And bring that down. That's external rotation, and that's where your forearm goes with it, usually with it, right? So left hand up, grab it with the right arm, lift it up. And then again, once you get there, soften that upper left trap. And then maybe extend the arm. Make sure the shoulder didn't jerk up to the shoulder. Keep it down. It usually can with this position of the arm. And again, I want you to just notice that your palm is probably facing towards the quote back of the room, right? And release that down. Go ahead and move that block. Let's do just a couple of general moves to get the body involved here. So we'll still try to open up a few other areas, although our focus is up top. So hands and knees, cat-cow. Any sensitive knee friends, remember, you could do this from seated and stay seated to do your cat-cows. Add breath. Don't suddenly get in a hurry because I'm not naming off when to do what. I noticed that I was started to move quicker and then come into neutral, right, move your tail to the right, look over your right shoulder, back to center, and then you'll do that to the left. And same thing, take your time with it, find your breath, and start to open up the spine in these two motions. Come back to center. You're going to walk your left hand a little forward. I'm going to take my glasses off. Glasses where you might want to ditch them. You're going to take your right palm and turn it up and reach it all the way over to the left under that armpit, right? Get your head on something. If it doesn't reach the ground, put a blanket or a block under it. And then that left hand can stay where it is. It can reach forward like downward dog. Pardon me. Find out where it feels the most comfortable. Push those shins down, find your pelvic floor and your low belly, and then soften your upper right arm, upper back, neck. Left hand under the shoulder, push the floor away, come up to hands and knees, recalibrate, right? Right hand moves a little forward. Left palm's going to turn up and reach past that right armpit, or inner wrist, I often say. Right arm can stay where it is, or it can slide forward like downward dog. Push those shins down, stabilize the pelvis. And then, I'm so sorry. And then try to soften your upper left back, outside of that left arm, the shoulder, all that stuff, right? The neck. Right hand under the shoulder, push the floor away, come up to neutral. Now, from here, we're going to start to play with that external rotation of the upper arm. The easiest way to think about it from here for most folks is to think of the inner elbow, the eye of the elbow, right? Where if you donate blood, they go into that eye of the elbow. You're going to go ahead and you're going to rotate that forward towards the finger side of the mat. Now, when you do that, I bet you can slide your shoulder blades a little towards the buttocks and your chest, a little forward. You're even gazing in front of your hands, right? Try to find that nice, beautiful, long upper back. And then from there, walk your hands about a paw print and a half forward, right? And same thing. Rotate your eyes of your elbows forward. Get your shoulders to move away from your ears, aka shoulder blades towards the buttocks. Look forward, reach the chest forward. Now I'm going to remind us, some of us, our ribs will drop down because that area of the back by the kidneys is the most flexible. Try not to do that. Try to keep your solar plexus, the front of the solar plexus, pulled to the spine, and try to bring this into the upper back and the neck. Now, push the hands forward and move the hips back a little bit. Don't go too far. We'll move the hands forward for a full, for half downward dog in a second. We'll see if my tongue and my um, brain can connect today. Jeez Louise. Do you notice how hard it is to try to get your eyes of the elbows to turn the same way as the fingers now, right? You're trying, but it's not going to ever go that way quite as much. The more the arms go overhead, the harder it becomes. Come forward, walk your hands forward about another paw print. Before you go back with the hips, right? Go ahead and get your eyes of your elbows to face the same way as your fingers-ish, right? That's not available for everyone, as much as you can. Shoulder blades towards the buttocks, chest forward, look forward. Keep that beautiful upper back. That's the upper back we want when we get to downward dog, right? Hopefully, in an ideal world. And so now the hips are going to move back as you push the hands forward and down. Forehead might come down, it might not. But more than anything, try to get your index fingers and thumbs to stay down. They don't lift, right? But try to rotate the eyes of the elbows forward. And does that allow you to get your shoulders out of your ears? Your neck to stay spacious. Walk your hands back. Let's do a child's pose. Any arm variation. Breathing. Let the arms come down. I say any arm variation, but do one where the arms are soft. And breathe. Okay, so come up to hands and knees. Walk your hands forward, little in front, wrists and a little in front of the shoulders. Try to get the eyes of the elbows to point the same way as the fingers. Get your shoulders away from your ears, chest forward, long neck. Yeah. Now curl your toes under. Keep your knees bent, quite bent. And slowly start to push those hips really slowly. Try to keep the eyes of the elbows facing the same direction as the fingers, right? But keep the shoulders moving away from the ears. Maybe you pedal one heel down and then bend the knee. Try not to move the pelvis or the spine. Push the left heel down. Just one way to work with it. There's so many ways to do this stuff, right? Come back to neutral. Push both heels down a little bit. But if your upper back rounds forward or you lose the shoulders or the arms or whatever, it's better to keep the knees bent, right? Especially on a day when you're working upper back. And then go ahead and bring the knees down. We're going to do a little shoulder opener. You're like, hasn't all this been shoulder opener? Yeah. So one of the reasons I love this is because it keeps your arm, your humerus bone in that rotation, right? So you're going to bring your elbows under your shoulders-ish. Interlace your fingers. And then when you move the hips, well, before you move the hips back, shoulder blades down the back, reach the chest forward, right? But when you move the hips back, move them back from pushing the shins forward and down, right? And just start to move towards almost half downward dog, but my forearms are on the ground. Now, can you get your elbows to come a little closer to your head? And then again, push the elbows, the forearms, the wrists down, the pinky edge of the hand, and I have to check my ribs because my ribs are totally just floating down to my thighs. I have to keep my solar plexus pulled up towards the back of my spine. Take a breath into that. And go ahead and come forward a little bit so you can bring your hands under your shoulders. We're going to go right into downward dog and then we get an arm break, I promise. So walk your hands a little in front of your shoulders. Try to get your eyes of your elbows to face the same way. And hopefully this is more accessible after what we just did, right? Curl your toes under, keep your knees bent, and try to keep that long upper back and neck. With your upper arm bones in external rotation, can you soften your upper traps away from your ears, right? Towards your buttocks. Take a breath. Might be hard to find, but it is more anatomically available, right? Okay, bring the knees down. Walk your blocks in if you want them. Step your right foot forward. Let's move our hips a little forward on an inhale and back on an exhale, maybe flexing that right foot. Let's just say hi to the hips before we go into them too deep here. Inhale forward and exhale back. Inhale forward, stay there. Come onto the blocks, shoulder blades down the back, longest spine you ever did find. Now add a little bit of pelvis stabilization. Traction your right foot back and your left knee forward, right? Try to turn on some of those beautiful muscles down there. And then try to reach both arms, or if you were just going to do one, it'd be just the left, right? And turn the palms up to the sky. Soften the shoulders away from the ears, hover. And then inhale, come on up, right? Pull the frontal hip points up, all the usual suspects. Go ahead and reach your left fingertips forward, your right fingertips back. Use the core muscles to turn the body. Maybe turn and look back towards that right corner. I'm putting that in huge air quotes. Okay. And de-revolve. Palms face back. Soften the shoulders down. Bring the hands down. Step the right leg back and the left leg forward. When you inhale, move your hips forward and down. And when you exhale, move back. Do that one more time. The next time you come forward, keep the hips forward, right? Shoulder blades down the back, longest spine you ever did find. Find your pelvic work. Pull your left heel back and well, your whole foot and your right knee forward, right? Try to stabilize your spine. And then maybe just the right arm or both arms are going to reach up, palms facing the sky, shoulders out of the ears, and then inhale up into a low lunge, right? Keep the pelvis neutral. And of course, today, keep the shoulders out of the ears. We're going to reach our right fingertips forward, left fingertips back. Our palms end up facing the sky right now, maybe looking back. And then go ahead and de-revolve. Palms facing behind you. We're looking for that external rotation, right? Shoulders soften down. Bring the hands down. Left leg back. Move blocks, hands and knees. Go ahead and move your shoulder blades through those circles. So shoulders to the ears, down towards the wrists, towards the buttocks, and together. And smooth that out into a circle, just like we did earlier when we were seated or kneeling. We're stabilizing the spine and keeping it elongated. And we're trying to isolate this in the shoulder blades. Now my spine as a whole unit does move a little up and down as my shoulder blades move. Go ahead and reverse the direction, but that's because of the motion of the shoulder blades. Try to find the middle of all of that, right? And child's pose for just a moment. Rest your arms because we're going to do one more big arm heavy thing. Coming up to hands and knees. So dolphin pose. You could do downward dog if you're like, no, right? Dolphin pose goes like this. You're going to have those elbows underneath your shoulders. Hopefully that's familiar. We're going to interlace our hands today and push down. Actually, you know what? I'm a liar. Grab your block if you have one. Interlace if you don't. And you're going to bring that block between your thumb and your index finger. They're pushing down into the ground, but they're equally pushing into the block, right? That's going to help us stabilize and find that external rotation. Now, move your shoulder blades down your back, right? Pull the solar plexus up and in if it's draping down. Lengthen the neck. Maybe look a little forward towards the thumbs. Curl your toes under. You could stay right here, by the way, and just work this. Keep that upper back, y'all. And maybe you start to push the hips up and back. Again, I will always suggest bent knees especially on days when you're working upper back, right? With my knees bent, I'm going to push like crazy into my finger pad, my index finger and thumb, my forearms, my wrists, my elbows, and I'm going to reach those hips up and back. My solar plexus is flaring. I have to pull that back. That's me. Maybe you straighten your legs a little bit. I can't today. It won't help my shoulders open anymore. It will just make my background and my solar plexus flare more. Take another breath and come on down. Isn't that fun? And breathe. Soften everything. Okay. Come to a seated position. Feel free to sit on height. So hopefully it's starting to make sense. It's really hard to get this through in a 20-minute class, but a lot of us hold tension in our upper back and our neck, right? And I always say the upper traps are the workhorses, and they don't have to be. And when they're the workhorses, that makes it really hard not to hold tension and be in this rounded position. We're looking now if we rotate that arm bone while you're sitting. You can do this. You can rotate your palms up. You'll notice the shoulder blades go down and your neck gets crazy spacious, right? Let's play with that one more time. Reach the legs out, medium wide. Right heel towards pubic bone. If your knee gets all the way to ground, great. If it's sensitive, prop it. But if it hangs high, just prop it, right? So we're going to bring our left hand inside our left leg and kind of figure out where your width needs to be for that. You're going to take your right thumb and put it in the hip crease today, right? And I want you to push and hold that hip down as you slide in a little bit on this left side. Now push your left arm and leg together and rotate the chest and maybe turn and look up while that upper trap is out of the way and your neck has spaciousness, right? Now, if you're going to reach the arm overhead today, my request is this. A, leave the buttocks bone down when you move the hand. B, when you bring it in, straighten your right fingertips behind you and go forward and over. It's the arm line we've worked all of class. And just like we did earlier and had our palms facing behind us, your pinky finger rotates to the ground, the palm behind you, the thumb up to the sky, right? And breathe. And when you do that, can you soften your right shoulder away from your ear and keep space for the neck to do its work of rotating? It doesn't have to rotate. If it hurts your neck, look forward or down. Come on up. Whew. Switching out your legs. Take your time with that. Support. Right arm inside of right leg. Left hand's going to come into the hip crease today. Push that hip and hold it down as you slide your right arm into the right leg. Now push your right arm and leg together in order to rotate the ribs and move the left ribs behind you, right? Soften that shoulder away from the ear. Maybe turn and look up while you've got space to do it. And again, don't let the hip move, but maybe reach the left fingertips down. And instead of going up to the sky, go forward the way your chest is facing and overhead. Hopefully the arm is already in position, right? But if not, the easiest way to think about it in the beginning is the hand. If I rotate my pinky finger towards the ground, my thumb up towards the sky, my palm faces, quote, behind me. Soften the shoulder away from the ear and breathe. And inhale, come back up. Coming down onto our backs. Put on your warmer clothes if you want to. Won't be a long Shavasana, but we'll get a little something in. So when you roll down, folks, if I'm just using just my low belly muscles, that's a lot of weight, the upper body, right? What happens if I engage it? Move the shoulder blades down the back, turn the palms to the sky, reach your chest forward between the hands as you roll down. Feet wide, tee the arms out. Inhale. With an exhale, the knees to the right. Inhale up, and you'll exhale to the left. You can turn your head the opposite way the knees. Shoot, you can turn your head the same way as the knees. Feel free to do whatever you'd like with your head and your neck. And when you're complete with that motion, pardon me, you can simply let the knees lean in towards each other. Bring the arms down just a little bit, palms up. So now you're getting a picture of why I always tell you when you're in Shavasana, palms up, right? You want those shoulder blades to be in their, what I'm going to call neutral position, right? You can think of them being between the floor and the spine, kind of flattening towards the ground. That's not completely available to all of us. We don't want them all the way in and down where our ribs are just up towards the sky, right? And the palms turning up is a really great tool to help to find that upper arm position, which affects the shoulder blade, which affects the upper back, which affects the neck. Hopefully your neck is spacious. Soften everything through the whole body. But because of today's work, I'm going to bring your awareness to your jaw, your tongue, your neck, all sides, the front side, the right side, the left side, the back right side, the back left side. Soften those muscles of the neck that run down along the spine into the upper back. Soften all the muscle and tissue around the shoulder blades, the shoulder. Soften the chest, the front of the shoulder. Now, if you have time to stay here in Shavasana, I would suggest that. All the trainings I ever did, this was the most important pose of all of yoga. But for those of us who have time commitments, we're going to come up, but I'm going to talk us through it. Bring your feet in onto the, or feet on the ground if they were extended, right? Bring them in if they were wide. Bring the arms a little closer, and you're going to reach that right arm overhead. Roll onto your right side in the fetal position. You can bend that right elbow and lay on your arm, or keep it straight, or whatever works for you. Now here's the juicy part of it, right? When you come up, don't use your neck. Huh? You'd probably do it without realizing it. Maybe you don't, and that's wonderful. But turn your head down, and whether your eyes are open or not, look down. I could say keep looking down, keep the neck soft. Press into that left hand and then that right hand. And my neck doesn't engage until I get all the way up. And come into seated, and I want to show you the two versions. What I see every day that I teach groups of people, right, is people who use their head and their neck to try to pull the whole upper body. That's a lot of freaking weight, right? But we can do it through the power of the arms, and it's a much healthier pattern for all the bodies I've worked with, including my own, right? So, food for thought. Sitting up right or kneeling like me, whatever you want to do. Ah, hopefully, maybe our dandelion's a little taller. Bring your hands together in front of your heart and half. And as you bow your head in, taking a moment and being grateful for at least one thing. Namaste. May you be well. May all beings be well, no exception.